The time is 6:15. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Here's the news edited by Dulmin Samarasinghe and read by Ramesh Piris. First, the headlines. The President presents interim budget which lays the basic foundation to change the economic system in Parliament. The retirement age of government and semi-government sectors reduced to 60 years. Loans of farmers with less than 2 hectares of land would be written off. Subsidies given for pregnant mothers, low-income recipients and Samurdhi recipients increased. An officer with full powers will be appointed to prevent fraud and corruption in the state sector. An institution to manage debt will be set up under the Treasury. Educational opportunities for foreign students enhanced. 20% of shares of state banks will be given to employees and depositors. And in news overseas, Ukraine says it has broken Russian lines in Kherson. In sports, World Rugby 7 Series, Australia beats Samoa to clinch first men's title. Now the local news in detail. President Ranil Wickremesinghe has requested everyone to join to build the nation, leaving aside their political aims. He said it'll pave the way to create a nation that moves forward competitively with the world. Presenting the second reading of the interim budget in Parliament today, the President said if not, the country would be isolated. The preliminary foundation to change the economic system in the country so far would be laid through this budget. A national economic policy for 25 years should be prepared. The President said that the detailed policy to build a new economy will be presented through the budget next year. The retirement age of the government and semi-government sectors has been reduced to 60 years. Employees who have exceeded 60 years should retire on 31st of December. The value-added tax will be increased from 12% to 15%, which will come into effect from the 1st of next month. The loans taken by the farmers with less than 2 hectares of land will be written off. More than 28,000 farmers are expected to benefit by this move. The funds due to the relevant banks will be credited to those by the Treasury. 350 million rupees have been allocated in this regard. The government revenue will be increased by 15% by 2025. Pregnant mothers will get an additional 2,500 monthly payment apart from the 20,000 rupees allowance given at present. 10,000 rupees will be given for 4 months to 61,000 low-income recipient families from the 1st of next month. Subsidies will be given to small boat owners and the estate families without electricity. The new revenue proposals will be implemented from the 1st of October. With that, printing of money will be reduced. Tax administration is expected to prevent non-payment of taxes. It was proposed to register everyone above the age of 18 years at the Inland Revenue Department. Social security funds will be utilized for education, health services and public transport. A supervising director general is scheduled to be appointed to prevent fraud and corruption at state institutions. State employees should be managed for an efficient management of expenditure. The state sector will refrain from purchasing vehicles using fossil fuels. It is essential to refrain from taking decisions that disrupt the economy. A committee will be appointed to remove discarded items piled up at state institutions. An independent debt management institute will be established under the Treasury. Steps will be taken to send money directly to the accounts of beneficiaries to implement welfare programs more efficiently. The programs implemented by the government at present to provide a monthly allowance for those who have been affected due to the decrease in agricultural productions will be continued for the next 4 months. The Samurdhi allowance paid for 1.7 million families will be increased between 5,000 rupees to 7,500 rupees. It has been proposed a temporary allowance of 5,000 rupees for the persons in the waiting list of Samurdhi educational opportunities will be opened for foreign students by encouraging private educational institutions. A branch of the Kotanawala Defence University will be established in Kurunegala. Foreign university branches will be set up for science education, including medicine. An office will be established for overseas Sri Lankans. A new train service will be launched to transport vegetables, flowers and tea from Hali-Alva to Colombo. The President expressed belief if it is possible to act according to new trends and thinking, the economic crisis could be solved soon. It was proposed to establish a separate unit to restructure state enterprises. 200 million rupees will be allocated for that. A close monitoring of 50 state enterprises will be done apart from the Electricity Board, Petroleum Corporation and Sri Lankan Airlines, which are to be restructured. The corporate intent in this regard will be reactivated. 20% of the shares of state banks will be given to the employees and depositors of those banks. Payment for kidney patients, elders and differently able persons will be increased. Fertilizer prices is scheduled to be reduced from next season. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The Minister of Public Administration has issued a new circular to prevent delays in response to problems and inquiries made by the public at state institutions. According to the circular, an acknowledgement should be sent to the relevant party within a week of receiving a letter. It is compulsory to send a final reply within 4 weeks. It is also compulsory to mention the telephone number of the subject officer, fax number and the email below the signature of the reply letter. All emails sent to the office should be read daily and reply should be given on the same day. If not, a reply should be sent mentioning the date of replying. Minister of Tourism Harin Fernandez says Sri Lanka will introduce a 5-year multiple entry tourist visa with a 6-month stay for 35 countries. In a tweet posted today, the minister said Cabinet of Ministers approved the proposal. Minister Fernandez noted that it is in addition to the 1-year multiple entry and single entry tourist visas which have a 6-month stay period. It was previously limited to 30 days. He said the decision was taken to boost repeat tourism in Sri Lanka. The Department of Irrigation has issued flood warnings from tonight to next 2 days. The department said flood situation could occur near Kalu, Kalani, Ging, Nilbala and Mahavali rivers and closer to Atanagalu area. The department said people living in low-lying areas of those rivers should stay vigilant. Roads in Maradana and its environs were blocked today due to the protest conducted by the Inter-University Students' Federation, trade unions and civil organizations. Police used tear gas and water cannons to disperse the protesters. Meanwhile, Fort Magistrate ordered to remand the main suspect of other 3 produced in court for assaulting senior DIG Deshabandhu Thenakun until the 13th of next month. That ends local news.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddha Lepa Veda Mahatmya.
Moving on to the main news story, the government has decided to suspend the purchase of vehicles powered by fossil fuels for the state sector, President Ranil Wickremesinghe said delivering the interim budget speech in Parliament today. According to this policy, only electric-powered vehicles will be purchased for the use of the public sector in the future. The President said private sector will be encouraged to use electric vehicles. He said this proposal will be implemented step by step and will be completed by January 1st, 2026. And that was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddha Lepa Veda Mahatmya.
Watch Life is brought to you by
A Strength to Your Life. CIB Janajaya Vasana has commenced. Valuable gifts and all bills are on 31st of October. Come to CIB today.
In Watchlight this evening, the Department of Examination says, based on the Advanced Level Examination 2021 results, students who wish to resit the exam can apply online from September 1st to the 8th. The department also said students can apply online for re-evaluation of the main exam results in due course. The dates to apply for re-evaluation will be announced by the Examinations Department in the near future. And that came to you in Watchlight. A bulletin of world news is next.
A Strength to Your Life. CIB Janajaya Vasana has commenced. Valuable gifts and all bills are on 31st of October. Come to CIB today.
Moving on to the bulletin of world news, first the headlines. Ukraine says it has broken Russian lines in Kherson. The UK Chancellor Nadim Zahavi visits US for talks to control cost of living. Artificial intelligence technology finds undeclared pools in France. Now the world news in detail. Ukraine says it has broken through Russia's first line of defense in parts of the occupied Kherson region. It follows weeks of Ukrainian attacks aimed at cutting off Russian forces in the southern region, which has been controlled by Moscow since March. In his night address, the Ukrainian president told Russian troops if they wanted to survive, it was time for them to flee. Moscow claims Ukraine's operation there has been a failure. The UK Chancellor Nadhim Zahawi is travelling to the United States later for talks on how to tackle the spiralling cost of living. During what could be his final week in the job, Mr. Zahawi will meet US bankers and officials to seek international solutions to soaring costs. Labour has criticised the trip, saying he would be focusing on the UK. The two candidates for Prime Minister have signalled that they will offer more help when elected on 5th of September. The discovery of thousands of undeclared private swimming pools in France has provided an unexpected windfall for French tax authorities. Following an experiment using artificial intelligence, more than 20,000 hidden pools were discovered. They have amassed some $9.9 million in revenue. Pools can lead to higher property taxes because they boost property value and must be declared under French law. Back to the headlines of the world news. Ukraine says it has broken Russian lines in Kherson. The UK Chancellor Nadhim Zahawi visits US for talks to control cost of living. And artificial intelligence technology finds undeclared pools in France. And that was world news. Moving on to development news. Minister Bandula Gunawardene instructed officials of the Road Development Authority to expedite the construction of the new bridge across the Rajagiriya-Navala Canal. It will connect Angampitiya Road to Athalkote and School Lane in Rajagiriya. This will eliminate rush hour traffic congestion. Construction work on the bridge began on November 26, 2020, but the project has been temporarily halted at present due to the prevailing economic crisis in the country. And that was development news.
Sports News is brought to you by
Sampath Bank. We present your future.
Moving on to sports news. Rugby. Australia has won their first men's World Rugby Sevens title after taking bronze in the series finale in Los Angeles. A 21-7 victory over Samoa at Dignity Health Sports Park was enough to clinch top spot in the standings ahead of nearest challengers Fiji and South Africa. Tries from Corey Toole, Henry Patterson and Dietrich Roche secured victory over Samoa. The win follows Australia's Women's World Rugby Sevens success in May. The 2022 series began in November last year and the tournament in California was the last of 9. Australia was the only side to reach the quarterfinals in all of them. And that was sports news.
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB U Trust.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
In business news, Selingo Life has entered into a partnership with King's Hospital Private Limited, Narayanpeta, through a major equity investment. The company said this strategic investment has been made via a private placement with an option to further increase its holdings in the 120-bed hospital. Selingo Life will take up proportionate representation in the King's Hospital board, which will catalyze its next growth phase. And that came to you in business news.
Business News, sponsored by
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB U Trust.
Economic news, courtesy of...
I bought my daughter a laptop for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
In economic news, According to the central bank, data state revenue reached pre-pandemic levels in the first 5 months of the year by recording 17.5% year-on-year in the period. In the 5-month period, the government revenue rose to 811.9 billion rupees from 630.1 billion rupees a year ago, supported by increases in tax rates and one-off retrospective surcharge tax on large companies. The non-tax revenue nearly doubled to 101.3 billion rupees from 60.8 billion rupees a year ago. And that was economic news. The weather report is next.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
And finally, we are moving on to the weather report. The Met Department says a low-level atmospheric disturbance is likely to develop in the vicinity of Sri Lanka. Hence, showers or thunder showers will occur over most parts of the island during the evening or night. Heavy showers above 100 millimeters can be expected at some places in the southern, Sabaragamuwa, central, Uva, northwestern, north-central and eastern provinces. Showers may occur in the western and southern provinces during the morning too. And that was the weather report. And to end this news broadcast, a recap of the main news headlines. The President presents interim budget which lays the basic foundation to change the economic system in Parliament. The retirement age of government and semi-government sectors reduced to 60 years. Loans of farmers with less than 2 hectares of land would be written off. Subsidies given for pregnant mothers, low-income recipients and Samruddhi recipients increased. An officer with full powers will be appointed to prevent fraud and corruption in the state sector. An institution to manage debt will be set up under the Treasury. Educational opportunities for foreign students enhanced. 20% of shares of state banks will be given to employees and depositors. In news overseas, Ukraine says it has broken Russian lines in Kherson. In sports, World Rugby 7 Series, Australia beats Samoa to clinch first men's title. And that concludes this news broadcast from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.